Kieran from Insync Body Mind Life, and I wanted to share with you the importance of understanding in life. In every area of life, understanding is so vital. That's why we put so much energy into trying to understand life. All the sciences, the pursuit of knowledge ultimately is to help us understand. When you understand how things work, then of course you can work with those principles. And unfortunately, we often move into situations in life without understanding. I have coached so many people in my life who have found themselves just opening up to a loving relationship with someone else. They're so keen to have a long-term loving relationship, and they connect with somebody and they feel, wow, it's so beautiful. They're enjoying that opening process, and then they discover that the person they've opened up fully to is not interested in what they're interested in. They're not ready or not interested in a long-term committed relationship. They didn't understand that person. So it's so important to understand before you take action. When we understand what shapes weather patterns, we can predict the weather. When we understand somebody else, we can predict the way they think, the way they behave. In fact, what I've found in my life, tuning into people quite deeply, and so many thousands, I've found that when you really understand somebody's mind, all their helpful patterns, their unhelpful patterns, you can predict how they're going to be in life, how they're going to behave, and what they're going to create in their life. Not just on the mental level, but you can also predict what's going to happen with their bodies too. Now, at the moment in the world, there's been so much focus on the US election. And it's amazing just how much conflict and divisiveness has been activated in the US psyche. Those who would have tuned in to, say, Donald Trump early on, before the 2016 election, if they understood the man, they would have understood that what he would have brought would be divisiveness. He couldn't have brought anything else, because poor old Donald, he grew up in a family. His father had an incredibly strong work ethic. He was a very successful businessman on many levels, but unfortunately he lost his father early in his life. And when he came to have children, he was very authoritarian. His first son, he named after himself. He wanted his first son to really be the heir of the dynasty, but the first son was not that kind of guy. He wasn't responding well to the authoritarian focus. And he, of course, suffered so much with all the criticism the father projected on him. And unfortunately, he didn't follow in the family business. He became a pilot and died as a result of alcohol-related issues when he was very young, in his early 40s. Donald was 8 years younger. He witnessed what happened with his older brother, but Donald has many great qualities. He's a very strong man. He's got tremendous courage. He's up for a fight anytime. He's incredibly determined and tenacious, and he has the scent of a deal. He's got a really great ability to feel out a deal. He's also got a good sense of humor, and when he's in a good space, that humor is enjoyed by others. When he's not in such a good space, of course, he's blaming, he's laughing at others, he's putting others down. But underlying Donald's development, you can see, because by age 13, his parents are finding it a little tough with him, and they sent him to a military school. And it was perfect for Donald in one way, that he was strong, he was a fighter, he learnt to dominate. He grew up in a family where there was an overriding principle. His father taught him there's two types of people in life. There are winners and losers. The winners, his father called killers. So Donald grew up with that language. His father wanted him to be a killer. And as far as the losers go, that's everyone else. we'd have to say that Donald was brought up with not such a great respect for losers, and when he's not feeling good, contempt. So what shaped Donald's life is the love of the deal. His greatest joy is winning a deal. Anytime he wins, he feels fantastic for a very short time. And his greatest fear, of course, is losing. That's always been the way with him. He moved on from his father, he moved into celebrity, identified very much with being a celebrity figure. Donald, unfortunately, can only create divisiveness because he lives in a very divided world. Winners, killers, and losers. So if you understood this man, you wanted to divide the country, then you'd vote for him. Just imagine, in a team you're in, if you wanted to sabotage the team, you'd get someone who would divide the team. In a family, if you were really keen to sabotage a family, you'd get someone who was divisive, someone who would blame, who would criticize, put others down. And what happened in the US election, Donald, with all these great qualities, he's got this underside, which get the deal at all costs, win the deal. That's the main goal of life, win, win, win. And any values can be overridden. Truth is, of course, the first thing to go. And this happened in his father's life too. His father was German, living in New York at a time when it wasn't popular to be a German, so of course they had to disguise that. And his father made a lot of shortcuts trying to make the deal. That is, he did a lot of illegal things. Donald's done exactly the same thing, and that's just the way he is. So when you think about all the millions of people, and 70 million Americans voted for Donald in this recent election, they voted for a man who could only divide the country. It's incredibly sad, isn't it? But what it shows is how we can all get caught up on so many things that we're attracted to without focusing on understanding. The good news from an understanding viewpoint, if you tune into Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, you'll see different kinds of people. Joe, he is a man who's had such a rich experience in political life. He's also made lots of mistakes, but the thing about Joe Biden, he acknowledges his mistakes. And he's suffered a lot in his life. He's felt the pain of suffering, of loss. And he is a man who can connect with others. He's got friends on the opposite side of politics in the Republican movement. Joe is actually a very timely guy for American society because he can reach across, he can heal. And if anyone listened to his, we won't say acceptance speech, but his speech when it was clear he'd won the numbers, he's really speaking from his heart, and he does have a lot of skill. In his vice president, first woman and the first Asian black in this sort of role, she's an incredibly strong character, shaped a lot by and inspired by her mother, who was quite an activist. The combination of both of them could be very helpful for the US. If you wanted to focus on bringing the states together, it's a good combination. So in life, we're often seduced by, oh, that sounds attractive. Oh, wow, look at that strong man. Look at that charismatic energy. But we want to be very alert to understand the person. If you're thinking of a relationship with someone, try and tune in, understand them more, understand what shaped their life. The more you understand, the more you can predict. So understanding is the key. And when you look at all the people who vote for those who, if you understand them, like a guy like Donald can only divide a country, it shows how much they're attached to certain expectations and certain aspirations. That blinds them to see the reality of what is. In our life, we want to prioritize understanding. Try and understand yourself and be kind to yourself. Try and understand others. Not judging, understanding. And a guy like Donald, he's got a lot of amazing qualities. He needs help. He won't He won't recognize that. His greatest fear is losing. And at the moment, he's definitely lost the election. But he lives in such denial, he'll never admit that he's lost. He'll be blaming others and blaming the system. And when we're out of balance, we've got a strong not good enough pattern. That's one of the ways it manifests. Anyway, here's a few little insights into the importance of understanding. Try and focus on understanding in all areas of your life, and wow, it makes such a huge difference.